Welcome back to Chants of Sennaar. This is video 3 of 6 for the full Platinum walkthrough. We just landed in our new area, the third area of the game. And we're looking at this sign that's showing us the Warriors language on the bottom and the new language on top. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the Warriors language when we found the shield right at the beginning of the area. We're going to match up 4 symbols with new symbols so we can get ourselves started on learning the language. Now, if you'll notice, at this point we've seen 3 different languages. We've seen 3 different areas. They do a pretty good job in the game of kind of showing you different time periods that they're kind of mimicking in our history. And this is where the language starts to really resemble the kind of, sways of lines and so forth of actual languages that are out there. Of course, the symbols don't come close to comparing to actual letters in existing languages. But I really enjoyed how they kind of, I don't know if the first language in the devotees is supposed to be like Sanskrit or hieroglyphs or what. And then I kind of see them as maybe 1,000 or more years ago. The warriors are kind of middle age or maybe a little bit before middle age. This area is kind of like the Renaissance period, I feel, because you're going to see a lot of art and tools and kind of figuring things out, making things work. That boat that we just operated. And of course we have seen kind of futuristic consoles throughout the areas, but those were put there by somebody else. So we're gonna run around, talk to some people. A lot of the language is gonna be foreign to us at the beginning. We were given those 4 symbols at the beginning, and now we've learned a whole mess more just having those conversations. You're going to see me do this more often than not going forward, where I am going to think I know what the words are and then come back to the book, open it up again, and fill it out again. So we have beauty, be, and love/like. So I was a little confused on the be, especially. Like, I did not remember that was one of the words. Some of the languages use different words. The warriors didn't have a word for beauty, and this community does. I also don't think the warriors used the word love. I think they just said like, or maybe something close to it. And that's what I'm saying. These communities, they are more developed the higher up you go. I still see this as we are climbing up a tower, even though it does look like a completely open area. We just took a boat from one side to another. We're going to take another boat to get to the other area of this level. Here's someone actually painting.
Hey.
They give us a greeting at the beginning. Right now we're calling them chosen, but that is not the word they use for themselves. But that's what the warriors were referring to when they said chosen. So we're going to use that to our advantage later on. We have somebody here who's wearing a mask and pretending to scare people, and they are quite entertained by it. And then up here we have 3 statues resembling 3 items. A mask with a smile on its face, an instrument, and a mirror. So I incorrectly call the mask drama, which is not what a smiling mask means. It means the other one, obviously. I'm going to pick a fruit, I guess you could call it, or a very large bean off this tree here. There's 3 of these you can collect on trees in this area, and you're going to bring them over to these little monkeys operating kind of a little vignette. These playable scenes that they can play for you if you give them the fruit to help them to kind of give them a reason to play it for you. You give them the reward, they play the vignette for you. We're going to change that word to beast. And then we're going to head to the area we need to go to. Oh, one more screen. Here we're going to talk to these folks. They're playing music. I believe this is going to allow us to figure out a few more words using our book. You see there the 2 dots, the colon on either side. I don't believe the first 2 languages asked any questions. I think with the devotees, they were saying, we need to find the preacher, not where is the preacher. The warriors certainly didn't ask questions, they just barked commands. So this is the first time we're seeing questions being asked. And again, every language handles things different. The plural being before the word in the warriors. I don't remember how the plural works in this. I think we already saw it. We know what the plural is. But the question goes on either side. And there's another word that goes on either side when they're using it. It's kind of strange. The negation, basically, saying the word not, goes on the beginning and end of a sentence. So each language does a couple things differently. They phrase words differently. Here's another fruit. They put the plurals in different places. Questions, when they use the word not, things like that. So all these things need to just be kept in the back of your head for when you need to translate things between different languages. This is the room where the monkeys are. There's the last fruit as well. So we're going to collect that, and we're going to go to each of the 3 vignettes. There's going to be some some text in the native language, and then they're going to show us little moving pictures. So it's going to help us kind of determine what some of the words mean. So again, it's a little bit of a guessing game of what some of these words might mean, but eventually it's kind of made clear. So that's weapon is what the warrior was carrying. Carry, possess. It was the last symbol of the three phrases that we just saw. So essentially, a warrior carries a weapon. An idiot carries what they were carrying, which was a saw, by the way. Not a, what did I list it as? A tool or something else? I think I listed it as a verb, actually. And the bard carries or possesses an instrument. So, hitching a ride past the kind of worker lady who's carrying the pitcher, which they refer to as idiot, which they use idiot in a lot of ways in this place. But hitching a ride there, we get down to the tunnel system and we find our first of two consoles. This one has a warrior waiting to be linked up with somebody, so that will be something we will take care of much later in the game. And we have a little puzzle here that we can put together, and that's going to give us a language we're already familiar with and text from this area. So we're going to be able to learn a few words using what we already know from another language, which would be nice. So the tunnel system in this level is quite confusing. We will return to this area. I don't remember if I showed the group looking down the hole, but essentially if we have seen it, that's what they're looking at. If not, I'm probably going to walk over to them right now. I think it's the next screen up. We're gonna check them out before we go to another area. That is the symbol that is at the top here of this structure, and it was a word that I was very unfamiliar with. So you're gonna see me guess. Oh, here they are. You're gonna see me guess at what that word is, but it's a word I've never heard before. But it doesn't necessarily matter. You don't need to be that familiar with the term. It's just a location, essentially. So there were three people looking down that hole, kind of like at the gutter there, and whatever it was that was in that yellow water they wanted. We will take a quick look at that before we complete this area. But the person working on the boat was asking us to retrieve an item. And as you go in here, there's a bunch of different tools. And you can see the outline of some pliers with that word being there. So that means that word resembles pliers, or plier, I guess, and then a plural. And there was a saw, which we actually already know the symbol for, even though it's blocked out, and the hammer. And if you recall, they were asking for the hammer, so we're going to bring that to them. And then we're going to return back to that group looking down at that item. And then we're going to head off to the other side of the area using the boat that the person was working on.
Ew. 네.
So I advise you just make a mental note at what that symbol was. That is the symbol of where we are. So basically, it is the underground area. We are going to use the tunnel system quite a lot in this area, but it is extremely confusing. My lack of directional expertise meant that I had to cut out a ton of me walking around trying to remember where things were. There are quite a few areas you can get to underground, and it gets a little bit confusing, but so keep that in mind, what that symbol was. And the item that they were looking down at, is something you need to get through this area. So we're gonna want to find that and retrieve it. But here we are on the other side, and pretty much the rest of the time we're going to be here, we're going to be working on this side. We don't really need to go over to the other side too much. This is kind of like pretty much a town square here, because there are 3 directions we can go. There are 3 locations we can use this road sign to get. Of course, to the left is where we just came from, and to the right is one location, and forward is another. So we're going to head to those areas to figure out what those areas are. And we're going to talk to people along the way and try to pick up a couple more words here. These two, I believe do I talk to these? Okay. So I guess incorrectly at what they are saying here. I thought they were drunk. They were not drunk. Oh, don't even show me putting the word in. There you go. I thought they were drunk, and I used the word drunk, so you might show that pop up again. But they're not drunk. They're just very happy to be together. And this person is asking us if we like comedy. So we're going to go ahead and... We're not going to call it a stand-up comedy bar, because that's not what it is. We're going to call it a theater. But we can't get in, because we need to pay admission. We need to give them something so we can get in there. So we are going to keep exploring and look around. Eventually we're going to get ourselves what we need. Here we have something that's broken on here, but it's pretty self-explanatory what it is. If you know what that symbol in the middle of it is supposed to represent, you can pretty much figure out what the 4 symbols on each of the 4 points are supposed to represent. But you can only see 2 of them right now. Some of these people are a little rude, a little condescending. So here we are, this little alcove here. There's 2 little games you can play here, and if you play both of them, you will get the one miscellaneous trophy in this area. For this one, you have to hit the blue bard mask. The joystick is extremely sensitive doing this, and I couldn't find a perfect way to make it happen without making a mistake right at the very end here. See, I didn't select that one, but the joystick made me select it, so I believe I mess up maybe one more time. But as long as you get it to the smiling face by the end, you will get the coin that you need for the theater. You might not even need to do this one specifically to get the coin. I think if you play either of the 2 games, you get the coin. But you want to play both of them so that you get the extra trophy. So there you have it. There is the comedy coin. Or I guess it's more likely a ticket for the theater to watch a comedy. That was the new symbol that person used. And here, this is quite funny. The symbol is supposed to represent something, and the game that you get to play, and we've seen it in a few other games within games. Goat Simulator comes to mind. This is this is probably the first version of Flappy Bird ever created. So it's nice that you get to see that and play that in this game. That was nice of the developers to give us that little bit of history. But once both games have been completed, you get True Gamer, or True G4M3R. You want to be completely literal. And that's all you need. So you can go and watch the comedy show now, which is not a comedy at all. It is more of a theatrical portrayal of something that isn't necessarily funny, I would say. I don't know, maybe you'll find some humor in it. Again, here's the directional item pointing in a directional way. I don't want to give too much away here, but we are missing two more of the symbols, and we will find those out soon enough. And again, we're meeting another condescending bard, but that's how these people feel. So this is a little unfair because just like the very end of the Warriors area, you basically walked right into a place and the game thinks you know exactly where you are. But if you didn't notice it, there's a windmill right in front of us. So we know where the theater is. We know what that other kind of pagoda, large circular structure is. And we know that the sign pointed in 3 different directions and had the N-like symbol there. So we're going to put that in its place. As soon as we do that, then you'll see. Okay, there we go. So that now means path. Agora was that other word that I was not familiar with. The theater and the windmill. And here we have a very rude bunch of bards who are going to insult us and tell us to go and retrieve an item. Which you can see on screen, but it's not shining and glistening just yet. Not until, let's see, now they've pointed it out. Blank me plural, windmill you blank. Blank you seek what? The path you'll have. So we need to find our way over to the thing that statue is holding. Anytime we pass through a gutter where I can look down, there you go, you can see a room in there. The room's pretty hard to find, but we will stumble upon it eventually before we leave here. So this is just a basic traversal section. We're going to go up the stairs, and you're going to be able to kind of select the action. That's where you want to end up, and just do it in time so you're not getting hit by any of the spokes. The first 2 are pretty easy. The third one has double spokes, but they go together. This one, you just have to time it out so that you're not going to get hit by either of the spokes because they're going at different rhythms, basically. And then cross the corner, and you will be able to get to the item that the statue is holding. We're going to bring that back down to the people that told us to get it. They're going to be quite rude, but what are you going to do? And then this item is going to be what we need to actually leave this area and go to the next area. But we need to figure out quite a few other things before we do that. So when we played those 2 games, we learned a new symbol, and that is that symbol right there with the question mark with a, I don't know, a unibrow on top of it. We were told to climb to the statue, and we are holding an item that resembles a torch. Therefore, we can pretty much figure out that the words are game, I think, climb, and fire. Play. Okay. And that was the wrong symbol I was looking at. That's not the question mark with the unibrow. It's the backwards question mark with a line and a dot. Idiot you are, the path I don't have. Idiot ascending is. Greetings. Rude, rude, rude. So we're coming to the point where I think we're going to go see the... we're going to go put the flame into a door and open it up. We're not going to go in because that is where we need to go at the very end of the level. And then I think we're going to go see the theater show, the comedy, which is going to help us understand exactly what we need to do. Again, we could have waited until the end to put that in, but I don't like to hold on to things any longer than we have to, because then it's just kind of in the way when we need to select other things. So we put that in there. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a couple pictures on the door. If you walk in there, it's just a dark, dark room, and if you continue to walk in there, you'll see a very dark area with some symbols on the ground, and then you will be pretty much lost, and you'll end up just coming right out of the tunnel, not knowing what to do. So next we have to figure out what we need to do. We need 2 items. We need a cipher for some of the symbols, and we need to figure out what direction we need to go. So we're off to see the comedy and then go into the tunnels to retrieve the item that we saw earlier. So let's go to the theater, and then we will work our way towards the tunnel. You know, sometimes I really crack myself up. Saying that, I knew it was going to be the exact opposite. Yeah, we're going down into the tunnels for a little bit. This will not be the only time we're down in the tunnels, because there's a couple things down here we can do and we need to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the tunnels to go back to that door that we had visited on the other side. We're going to open up that door, and we're going to look for the item while we're over here. All I can tell you is if you follow this path, you'll be able to do this. The signs on the ground are very unhelpful. If you follow that sign, it's not going to take you to the theater. So that is part of the reason why I get so lost quite often. But I think I've managed fairly well cutting out all the unnecessary paths that I took. This one is almost correct. It's going to send us in the correct direction, at least, to get to the Agora. And that's what you want to find. You want to find the way up. But that's not the one we take. We take this one because we want to open this door, and the item that we need is right there on the left. So the door's now open. We don't really need anything in this side of the town except for this. We're going to pick this up, and let's see what it is. So we now have a compass, and it has 4 directions on it. 2 of the directions we already know. And I was guessing on north, but was correct. This will at least help you know exactly which direction is which, because that's going to be very important later on. And then, of course, you can look at the compass and you can determine west is on the left, east is on the right, and south is below. So we will make those 3, and then we will complete those 5 symbols. Then we'll be good to go. And then it's off to the theater. There are a couple things down here again that we are going to venture into. And I did do my best to cut out any paths that I took that were incorrect. So hopefully it is as direct of a route as possible. But I believe, I'm even afraid to say it, I believe I go to the theater next, and then we go through the tunnels to find the last of the few words that we still need to figure out. Here's the area where we determined they were making instruments. Here's the agora. And you do not need to find those people that were looking down for the compass. The compass is now yours. So I figured this was probably the most direct route, though I don't take it. Oh boy, do I? Okay, I do. May as well use the boat to get over to that kind of center of town where the sign was, so that we can head to the theater. All right, so we're going to head into the theater. We're going to see a pretty lengthy little play, but pay attention to everything they say, and then we are going to be able to see the text written down somewhere. But we're going to heed those directions and those symbols, and that is going to help us finish off the level.
Oh. 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 Oh.
So we now have everything we need in order to get to the next area. They told us what symbols we need to remember and what directions we need to go. That will be a lot more easy to understand once we go into the little dark area that we can now access because we put the torch on the door. But essentially, when you see the saw, go west. When you see, I don't remember what the second symbol is. Essentially, yeah, it tells you which direction to go once you see those symbols. There's a sign for the books right above us. So that's how we learned that symbol. We're calling that the monster. And now we know that those two fellas singing out in front of the theater were brothers. They found some companionship within themselves, with each other. And down here is our second console. There are 3 doorways in this room. I think the first time I played this game, I did not recognize that there was a second doorway there. To the left of where my character is standing. There at the top right of your screen, pretty much. This will open the door so you can head back out to the surface. But I do believe I probably go back in. Okay, so we have all the answers. Now we just need to find a few areas underground here in these tunnels that are going to give us the last few words that we need to collect for the lexicon of this area. You're going to see me head up, and then it's going to cut. I'm going to go up the stairs, and it's going to cut. Nope. I don't even remember. Yeah, head up the stairs, and then we just come right back down because I realized I was going the wrong way. I cut out probably a good 30 to 40 minutes of me getting lost in the tunnels. But I do get where we need to go semi-efficiently. The other room we're definitely looking for is the one that we saw as we were standing above it. We looked down, there was a little bit of graffiti written on the wall. That's going to teach us at least one word in that room. So we want to definitely check that out. And I believe that might be it. And then it's just finding our way back out. Oh, here we found the room. There's a couple things on the table to read. You could also read the symbol that it was painted over the theater sign. I don't remember, or maybe it's the windmill. Yeah, it's the windmill. Now I remember. Be blank me, plural seek want. Chains breaking on someone's wrists resembles a pretty easy to understand image there. So we're going to call that one free. So we still have one more symbol to discover, and it is in the tunnel system, right next to the other item that we should definitely find before we leave. And if you recall, back when we found the second console, I remarked that there was a doorway that I had forgotten about, so we're just going to go ahead and use that doorway, because that's going to get us right to where we need to go. And right here to the left, and then I believe to the left again. Here we have another strange purple door, and there is also that's the theater above us. There's also a bit of text here with 2 different languages, so that helps us determine the last item that we need. And it looks like the word is Abby. Well, we're definitely missing at least one word there. So 4 more that we have to figure out, and we can match all 4 of them with the words here. So man, human, free, Abbey, and fortress. We've completed the Bard language. Again, I know I said this in the first video. I think you should get a trophy every time you complete a language, because it definitely feels like a monumental event. You know, it's a lot of hard work, and you should feel happy if you figured it out all on your own without using too much of this guide. You should definitely pat yourself on the back. So there is, as you can see, there's an item we need for that door. The compass doesn't work. Of course not. We will get that item much later in the game. So we're going to head back, and we're going to find the doorway that we opened using that fire that we got, the torch that we got off the statue. And now we have all of the items that we need in order to determine how to get through that area. So much earlier we could have come in here, and if we had all the answers, we could have probably determined where to go. But you'd need at least the compass to know which way is north. As you should already know, you always want to point the red on north, and that will determine where the other directions are. Find your north, find your true north, and head to the west at the saw. I believe this one we're heading actually north. Instrument he found, north he went. And then the other two directions, and you will reach the end. So you've made it through, you've got the darkness. Because the trophy pops here, I'm going to consider this the end of the level. There's a little bit more to do, but we will take a look at that in the next video. See you there. Take care.